Now by NYRA President and CEO Charlie Hayward. Charlie, thanks for coming on tonight.
Great to see you. Happy to be here and glad to have you at the track.
Very good. So tell us so far, this is the last weekend of racing for the 2011 meet. How has the season been?
You know, it's been very strong. Of course, we lost the Sunday due to the hurricane, but given the other things that happened around here, we feel pretty fortunate. We didn't lose any barns, had no real problems with that. So even with that, taking that race day out, so we'll be comparing 39 days to 40. Our attendance is going to be up, actually, for the first time in probably 4 or 5 years. Our on-track wagering, which we call handle, is going to be up probably 5, 6, 7%. Our all-source wagering, which is, our simulcast business, will be down a little bit, but, much, much better than the rest of the industry. So from the numbers standpoint, it's been strong, and we've had some great performances on the track. Stay Thirsty wins the Jim Dandy, comes back, runs a huge race in the Travers. Tisway runs a huge race in the Whitney. Uncle Mo, although he got beat, ran a big race in the King's Bishop. So both on the track and off the track, it's been a good meet.
What do you attribute to the success so far? I mean, there's this concern about a double-dip recession going on,
right.
Yet it seems like you've had more people here than ever. I mean, why are people coming back even though we're in kind of a shaky economic situation right now?
Well, I'll tell you, I think I said this before the meet started, and I still stand by it. New York City OTB closed last December. They wagered about $1.3 million a day on us. So there are a lot of people that want to bet Saratoga. And I believe that, part of the reason that attendance on track is up is that some people got in their car, got in a train, whatever, came to the track. The other thing is that, Saratoga is just, known around the country as the best racing. So we have a lot of people here that come regularly, Kentucky, Chicago, New England's a big market for us. So, if you're going to go to the racetrack at any time throughout the year, you're going to come to Saratoga. So I think that, not that we're recession-proof because, we've been down a little bit the last couple of years, but, ever since the Belmont meet, we've really been on an uptick, so we're encouraged by that.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that Belmont meet. The Lieutenant Governor was there to give the cup at the Belmont. The Governor and the Lieutenant Governor have not attended the track so far. I know the Governor had a welcome letter at the Travers, but and also he was tied up with hurricane response issues, but the Governor didn't even seem to give an indication that he would be going to the Travers even if there wasn't a hurricane. Were you disappointed that the Governor or Lieutenant Governor even or anybody from the administration has really come to show up in a high-profile race tonight, this meet?
Well, listen, since I've been here in 2004, I think it's more often that the Governor has not attended, whether it was Pataki, Mr. Patterson. So I think that...
Well, David Patterson went to last year's Travers, I believe.
He did, and but again, he didn't make all the Belmonts and all the Travers. But, this is the first year of the administration, for the Cuomo administration. They've had a lot to do, a lot of things on their hands. We feel that with the addition of Ben Liebman on the second floor, and with the strength of the Franchise Oversight Board, we feel that we've got a strong voice, into the administration. Ben Liebman's done, some great work already. So, I think that if you had to line up priorities for the Governor, jobs, education, the hospitals, the economy are, would be ahead of the New York Racing Association, and he's probably got his priorities in the right place.
Okay, so, but just in terms of the relationship with the Cuomo administration and NYRA, since the beginning of the meet, since the beginning of the Cuomo administration, has it improved, worsened, gotten better? I know there's been some, some exchanges between NYRA and the administration, but what would you say is the state right now of it?
I'd say it's very strong. We have a good relationship with the head of the State Racing and Wagering Board, who reports into the Governor's office, with Mr. Liebman. I mean, specifically, there were two things that the administration weren't happy about, and we've remedied those. The first one was when we had to outsource our phone operation because we couldn't manage the volumes. I mean, just as an example, on Travers Day, we had an all-time record. We had about 17,000 calls in one day, and last year we had less than 4,000 calls. In the first quarter of this year, we had 90,000 calls. Of last year, we had 90,000 calls. This year, we had 440. So we put an RFP out. We sent the business out of state, and the Governor was not happy with that. We immediately started working with ESDC. Our vendor, Churchill Downs and U.S. Off Track, have agreed to come back to New York. We've announced that they're going to go back to Amherst, set up a new operation, new jobs, and so I think that we worked well together on that. The final issue was I didn't attend the Franchise Oversight Board due to some scheduling conflicts, and Mr. Megner wasn't particularly happy about that. And we've had Franchise Oversight Board meetings since that time. It's a public meeting. Watch it on the internet. I thought the meeting went very well. We've got another one scheduled for October. So I think that we're in good shape and working well with the administration.
Sure. Well, that's certainly all prologue, but looking forward to the next couple of months, you guys are looking to do some capital improvements as well. Can you tell us a little bit about those, and also just how much are those going to cost? Because I know part of what NYRA's been trying to do is cut back on some costs too in the last couple of months. But tell us first about those capital improvements and just what they're going to look like.
Yeah, well, let's frame it up first in terms of how we're going to pay for that, which is really underlying one of your questions. The VLT operation at Aqueduct, which has been a long time coming, Genting is very close to finishing. We had one of our VPs down there yesterday doing a walkthrough. He's very excited about the level of commitment and the money that they put into it. They're going to open sometime towards the end of October. And the racing industry gets statutory splits from the VLTs. 6% goes to purses, 4% goes to capital expenditures, and only capital expenditures. It can't go to marketing, it can't go to purses. And that 4% on a $350 win per machine, which is the numbers that we've been given by Genting, yields about $27 million. And we get 3% for an operating subsidy, if you will, and that we can spend on things like marketing and a number of different things. So the $27 million it provides the basis for us to start to look at a long-term capital plan. No real money to spend at Aqueduct because that's been fixed. Some money to work at Belmont, but we've really got to figure out what the long-term goal of that is, because it's a big track. It's got a lot of issues. So we've announced 21 different potential projects here at Saratoga. We've consulting with the community. Our board's been reviewing it. We're now going to go forward and prioritize those projects, cost them out, and then by this time next year, we'll be prepared to present these to our board. The Franchise Oversight Board, Mr. Megner's organization, has to approve all capital expenditures. So, we've got a lot of work to do and a way to go. But there's no question that we'll have substantial monies to pay for that.
Is there a potential for the track looking very different in the next couple of years, or will it just be kind of renovations that you guys feel are a long time coming?
I think it's a very good question. I think there's going to be both. One thing you're not going to see is a change to the building that's right behind you. We're going to keep the structure of the clubhouse and the grandstand the same. However, down behind us to my left, we currently have an at-the-rail tent, if you will, that seats about 500 people. We've got 4 what we call luxury suites, which is a little bit of a loose word for use of the word luxury. And we're contemplating putting in, let me just back up, we spend about $500,000 a year just to put those things in and take them out. We're looking at potentially putting a full-time, year-round building in there. Could be heat, air conditioning, which is not very much up here at the track. And so we think we can reduce costs, which is one of our goals, and at the same time increase revenue. That will be a brand new structure, but it will be built in the context of the architecture of the rest of the facility. So no dramatic, tear downs and builds up, but some supplementation. We're looking at the paddock area. We're looking at the what used to be the old saddling shed, which is the Mutuals building in the back, the most historic building in the track. We're doing a lot of work on the backside, dormitories, which we need, new barns. We want to try and add about 250 stalls. So you'll see changes, but we want to augment the racing experience here and not replace anything.
And just one last thing, Governor Cuomo has also talked about the possibility of allowing for non-Indian gaming around the state, the building of casinos not run by American Indian tribes. How will that impact NYRA? Is there a place for you guys in that possibility? I know it's very in the theoretical right now.
Sure.
He's just only talked about it, but is there a place for NYRA in that?
Well, first I would say, we're not in the gaming business. We're in the horse racing business. Our partners, Genting, have made it clear they stand ready to invest substantial monies if there were a constitutional amendment and there was an expansion of gaming. I think from the state's perspective, if you went to Foxwoods and drove around the parking lot and saw the number of New York cars that are there, or in Atlantic City or in Pennsylvania, I think it makes sense to certainly at least look at it. To the extent to which we have a partnership with Genting and their financial well-being and their health will certainly help us, I would say that if it's good for Genting, indirectly it's going to be good for us.
Okay, NYRA President and CEO Charlie Hayward, thanks for joining me.